What is going on, guys? Welcome to Double Tap. This is Mash Those Buttons podcast dedicated to the FGC. This is episode 373. On this week, we've got the Clown Prince of Crime comes back. An ancient demon also ends up coming back, and we tell you guys how to find yourselves a local tournament to go and play in 2024. I am, of course, Crash Tag. Welcome, guys. I've got a slew of hosts with me, of course, this week. On this episode, we got Static Gorilla in the building.
Hello. Thanks for having me back again.
Of course. Again, right? Yeah, shocker. But we do have our voice of reason has returned. He is back. He is in our heads, and he's hanging out. We've got Ja as well.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call two people a slew. Like, I don't know if that qualifies. A pair. Listen, I don't got a lot of friends. All right, there's a lot right now. There's a lot for me. Welcome, guys. Welcome for the returning listeners for checking out this episode this week. We appreciate y'all for giving us an extra 2 quarters for another credit to hang out. And for those that are stepping up to the cab, we appreciate you for coming through and checking out the episode. We've got some stuff to get into. But if you're new here, if you're not aware, the chapters for everything on the show are available on YouTube, Spotify, and any platform that is supporting podcasting 2.0. So if you just want to jump into maybe Akuma or Joker and maybe some other things that we're getting into, feel free to go check that out. But before we get started on this week's episode, as true tradition, we start looking at what happened last week, or rather the questions we asked last week. And we're actually going to start with that question first. So the question of the week last week, we were talking about character loyalty, because Static Gorilla is always on in the crossroads there, so it was always fun to bring that up, especially with some of the new DLC characters that are coming out, including Slayer, right, for Guilty Gear. We talked about character loyalty and kind of like the, like why, people out there kind of stick with certain characters regardless of like, how strong they are in the meta, or is it their playstyle, like what kind of hooks you on. And a good answer from Formal Ghoul over on Spotify gave us the following. I stick with my characters because of their stories. It's fun to see their story change as the years go by. Been playing King since Tekken 4, and it was for the story. And thanks for the episode. First of all, thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you for listening. So sticking with your character for a story, not actually even outside of like the norm. Like I said, these characters are more than just like what you play in the game. A lot of people just do like them because they have incredible arcs, especially if they're long-lasting characters or long, legacy characters. King, for example, been in the game for like ever. And sometimes you just vibe with the story, right? Good writing for a good character just makes them that much more appealing. So maybe some people are just sticking to them because of that. King is kind of a favorite for that, right? Like his story kind of revolves around orphanages, being good to kids, and avenging. I think in Tekken 4 it was like when Armor King was killed and like by Marduk in that one. So I think like that's when it starts getting a little bit more vengeance-y. So they kind of give him a reason to fight again. So it's refreshing, but not, like I said, not really outside the norm of having something like that to be the reason you want to stick around with your character, especially as they evolve over time. Once again, appreciate you listening to the show. Kind of a short list for question of the week. I kind of dropped the ball on posting out in certain places. Appreciate. Sorry for that, guys. But let's just jump into the poll because we've got some interesting results here. So we talked about Street Fighter 6's patch coming up 2 days before Combo Breaker 2024. This patch being a pretty big deal because it's the Akuma patch, right? Akuma is going to be dropping. And in kind of like the history of Combo Breaker, they've always been stuck in the crossroads when it comes to patches or even sometimes game releases when it happens. So Rick went on and asked, and we're asking you guys if Combo Breaker should be running on the current patch, which is like the 1.011 with Ed, or should we be playing on the Akuma patch? 87% of y'all were like, yeah, Akuma patch. Just let them rock. Let him go nuts because he's going to be coming with a slew of changes. He's going to be coming with a bunch of balances. And yeah, people are just like, we want the madness. And I'm all here for it. Yeah, give me something new. Why not? And a Combo Breaker of all things too. Like it's a big tournament. It's a lot of players. So it's going, that top 8, I don't know who you thought was going to win. I mean, chances are that the players are still going to be dangerous. But we know there's some unknowns that are happening. So I don't know what's gonna happen. So I guess people are gonna find it more entertaining to have the Akuma patch go live, which I'm for. Not about you guys, but I'm down for that.
No, just let the chaos go. It's here.
Let's see, out of that 87%, how many of you guys are actually playing at Combo Breaker?
Yeah,
sure, I want to see the Akuma patch. Absolutely. Like, I would love to see that, but I'm not playing a Combo Breaker either.
I'm not gonna. I wasn't registering. I'm not gonna pay travel. I'm not gonna pay to go to a hotel just to get beat by something I don't know. Nah, that's okay, dog. I'll stay home and watch that.
I'm gonna be sitting right in front of my TV with Combo Breaker playing. Like, let's see what happens. Like,
yeah. Oh shit, you didn't know that was a thing now, did you? Oh shit, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Akuma patch looking like. I mean, it's more than likely. We haven't gotten the official response yet from Combo Breaker, but.
Yeah, I'm looking.
I want to say it's likely like it will probably go off. So we'll just have to wait and stand by, which is happening in 2 weeks. We'll talk about it next week for sure. All right. But in the meantime, though, let's actually stay on the topic of Akuma. Hey, we got ourselves a release, or rather a release, a gameplay breakdown. We were waiting on this, and let's go to the tropes. Fireball, yes, obviously fireball there, DP, hurricane kick. All right, cool. The basic Shoto package is there, duh. But what was the common factor you were kind of seeing in this static? You were kind of saying earlier.
He is able to move after certain moves are blocked.
Yes.
Does that rhyme with anything? Sort of
yes.
Rhymes with bus, maybe plus.
No, it rhymes with in this behemoth typhoon.
Oh yes,
yes. Is what that rhymes with. So, for those that are my Guilty Gear guys, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Akuma is looking very offense heavy, which once again it's Akuma, it's expected. But man, they are giving him his tools. Like his tool set right now is looking really strong. So put in perspective here. Let's just go with off the rip, like the demon flip, right? Demon flip, you've got your kicks, your dive kicks, 3 different angles. You've got now an overhead. You've also got the feint, and you've got the sliding kick, right? And I'm not thinking of overdrive or the EX version right now. I'm just doing the base moves. I think everything in that kit that I just said, he's plus. Outside of maybe the overhead, I have to like double check real quick. I'll confirm that in a second. But everything else, even the sliding kick, which is supposed to be the one that like when you don't press anything, he goes for the low. Yep. Is plus, which you would not think that would be plus of all things. So I kind of got really confused, and they started off like shortly right after like doing like the Tatsumaki breakdown and all that with that, and I was kind of like, I'm kind of confused here. Like my man is literally just going to press W the entire way. Like he is going to be one of those characters that is going to overwhelm you with just attacks at all points. And that flip, by the way, the fact that the overdrive or the EX version of it like homes,
yeah,
no matter where you are on the screen, I thought we had to like space that. It's like, no, the EX is going to always be wherever you are on the screen.
And it doesn't, hold on.
Once I saw it on the screen, I was like this, huh?
Yeah.
Like I had to like read the subtitles again just to make sure I was reading that right.
And the overdrive moves within it do not expel any overdrive gauge either.
Yes. Yeah, I'm a little kind of like surprised at that too. I feel like that might change in the future, but I mean, hey, version 1, whatever, let them rock. Let Combo Breaker be nuts.
Well, you're already committing to an overdrive usage, but you're getting the overdrive usage of certain moves if you were to normal jump anyway.
Was it like that actually? Now that I think about it, was it like that in like in Street Fighter 4 and 5, where if he did EX, would he actually use EX bar or like super bar?
I don't remember about 4, but in 5, yes, it was the same way.
It was the same way. Okay, so it might have just been a small detail. It's just I didn't play him too much in 5, so I can't remember. But because drive gauge, because it's different, right? Because we're not talking about a super, like your super resource, right? Like in that, it kind of made sense because your EX was tied with your super bar. That's not the case in this game, right? You have your own dedicated drive gauge that is meant for the EX, while your super bar is now not touched. So it felt like naturally that was a way to balance it a bit. Now it's like, oh shit, like you're not even going to get punished on the drive gauge part of it, which allows you to do a lot of these other mechanics. But maybe I guess that's their thought. Like if you kind of commit that much resource to it, like they didn't want him to just then be out of, you know, drive reversal, drive impact, or even drive rush or anything like that, right? Like it might lock you out. So yeah, the flip was a trip for me.
My thing is, like, you have all these other answers that people use on moves that are coming in like this, which is like drive impact, which you would expect the dive kick or any of these moves to have any answers. But if they read your drive impact, they're going to grab you. Or find another way to do a 3-hitting move. Like if they're doing EX flip, they're going to EX fireball you.
It's fireball,
EX,
yes.
Or even EX Tatsu. Like, did you notice the standing EX Tatsu even goes a little bit above? So like, it's you can crouch a lot of things. Maybe that's where this game is going. And apparently I heard that you can crouch the second hit of forward heavy kick. So like, maybe
the second kick is a high, like it does not hit mid or anything like that.
Right.
So you can just like punish it. So yeah, there are some glaring weaknesses that we're seeing, which obviously he should have, because he literally has paths to damage almost everywhere. Like almost every option leads them to actually kind of like, you know, do the classic follow up with a DP, right? Like on anything, you have a ground bounce into DP, EX Tatsu into DP, even after knocking you down. Like he has enough to kind of like squeeze extra damage from you. And yeah, like I was saying, like the flip was kind of, you know, I thought that was going to be like one of the avenues of where you can actually exploit a bit more. But even the feint, like how quickly you recover from the feint, where you actually can not commit to anything, and now you can blow up the parry or even a drive impact, and then drive impact back on your own, and then just blow them up, just explode them afterwards. Yeah, kind of wild. I just want to put a note out there. The writing for the actual video itself was pretty funny, because they were just like, you know, they were like, your opponent cowers in fear whenever you do this and such, like as if Akuma decided to put the glasses on. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna write my script with my shit,
looking like,
and he tried to kick off some bars or something like that. I was kind of like, as I was reading it, I was like, wait, what is this? Hold on, why? I had to like decipher some things, and I was a little confused as they went about it. Let me see. So from kind of like the more the kind of the high priority moves, like the flips and such, did you see anything about that teleport outside of that command grab shenanigans?
Literally like looking through it now. I was going back and forth to see it, but it doesn't look
teleport.
Like
yeah, I'm trying to find a use case for the teleport right now outside of like, you know, like command grab shenanigans, because he's not invo through it, right? You can't cancel into it. So it's like, I'm trying to understand what this move is, because a fireball war is not going to be a big deal with him. Like a fireball war, excuse me, is not going to be a problem for him, because he's going to have, you know, he has red fireball, he has EX, he has aerial, he has the demon flip in general to kind of like, you know, bypass that, especially that EX one once again to blow it up. So I'm like, where's this teleport like going? Like, are you trying to blow up some wake up, but you only have so many invo frames in the beginning, and then if you mistime it, it's like, I don't know. Like I just that's like right now been the biggest question mark for me in terms of his design.
So I know there's a video circulating that Raging Demon goes through fireballs.
Yes, because it's invo. Yeah, I mean,
no, not
you have
jabs.
You have to be well, I mean, it should have some info. You have to be like what, 25% health and have 3 bars. Like, give me something.
Yeah, CA.
Yeah, you have to be CA. So it's like you got to give me something. Even I wouldn't say even if they gave you full info, would it still be worth? But it's also a hit, by the way. Fun fact for the demon is a hit. Like you can actually combo into it, while that's traditionally it's always been a grab. Right, so you can actually use it to extend, but from initial reports, the reason we say initial reports is because there's a preview version that's been out. Some content creators, influencers, and players have played it. They've been able to put out some postings of it. Yeah, you can actually hit into it, but then like combo into it, but it's like the damage is like kind of the same. So it's like there's not a big difference like on a surface level for it outside of if you just get a full raw like critical art version of it. That's not a big difference there in terms of damage. So yeah, so it's still a little bit mysterious as to like, you know, where else his kid is going, but the fact that he's plus on so much, like he is going to be so oppressive. You know, no counters or anything like that in this game, right? Like he doesn't have it like from Street Fighter 5. His buttons looked pretty solid, and even his new moveset, the what is that, the fist called? It's like something like the Sip of Calamity, I think is what it's called. Like the Adamant Flame, excuse me, Adamant Flame is the new kind of like fireball punch move. That was gonna be a fun footsie tool. It looked the heavy version looked way slower, but like everything else in this video, it's plus. And then it's also, excuse me, you can punish, but it's a spacing thing. It's one of those, like on paper you're negative something, but really if you space it, it's actually very, very difficult to punish. So the new move looks really cool. It can wall crumple or wall splat, excuse me. And then you've seen kind of like somewhat of a setup where then he like demon teleports to them. But I'm like, I don't know if you can get a real follow-up from that. So
yeah,
Akuma. Oh, go on.
No, yeah, it's just I don't know if I can confirm. I'm trying to find out like teleport footage of if it goes through fireballs or not. But if it does, damn. I mean, that's a pretty good usage there.
Yeah, I mean like once again, that's pretty classic. Like to actually punish a fireball for that. But I mean, you know, to actually get the traditional inputs in time, like you got to practice those. But yeah, Akuma's looking really strong. He's definitely gonna, like I said, he's gonna be very menacing. He's gonna have a lot of offense. He's gonna be tricky. Yeah, combo breaker is gonna be nuts. I can't wait. I'm still hyped for the character. So we're just gonna have to wait and see how he's going to affect the field when he actually drops on, what is it, is it 22nd?
22nd. Did you see his his CA, his critical art?
Oh yeah. Where he punches you, you try to block it, then he decides to blast you instead.
Yeah, exactly. He just opens the hand and says, "Did you forget my power?" Like boop.
yeah. That was a pretty gangster critical art. So we'll yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing it more. But yeah, so Akuma, once again, May 22nd, Combo Breaker is gonna be our first taste of it. We'll see what the new tricks are going to bring. He's gonna be offensive. He's damage, you know, is gonna be out there, but I think his combo potential is gonna be kind of fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Because we have yet to see like how crazy the drive rush juggles are gonna work out for him.
You know, I feel like there's gonna be like, he feels kind of like Kage with the
little bit
like
I
how
can see that.
Kage's like sort of could bait you with certain like moves. Like there was a lot of times where I was just hitting like a cross up Tatsu or even with that clip of K-Bread getting mixed. Yeah, I'm gonna block this whack mix up and blame.
Whack mix up, and then gets blown up. Yeah, he did not. Spoilers. He did not block that wax up.
No.
Whack ass mix up.
I like that wax up. That's cool.
The wax up. All right, so real quick, guys. We're gonna be taking a quick break. We're gonna be coming back. We're gonna be talking about some Multiversus news. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. All right, and we're back from one returning character with Akuma to a not returning character, but not really also a surprise. A returning voice actor though, but not really a surprise when it comes to the character. So Multiversus, we've got some developments there with a Joker being officially announced, as well as a gameplay trailer that did drop actually this morning. And by gameplay trailer, we don't mean like a breakdown. It was literally just a trailer that had his gameplay in it. But yeah, the Joker has been officially announced with Mark Hamill voicing him. Mark Hamill, obviously historically being, in my opinion, the best Joker ever. I mean, I don't think that's really much of an argument. The guy literally has Arkham in his name. If you ever put Mark Hamill together, it's actually Arkham is in the middle of his name. But yeah, so he's been shown off. He was actually, Joker was data mined very much before Multiversus went offline. We already were aware that this character was going to come out. But obviously due to Multiversus going, you know, taking their sabbatical, it kind of put a pause on things. But we got a gameplay trailer with them. Yep. And very much like the, you know, kind of a mixture of the animated, the Batman animated series, Joker, you know, definitely leaning more on that, but then kind of some tropes from other comics or other parts of the comics as well. in the character, including the Batman Who Laughs costume that they showed off.
That's pretty cool.
Clean cosmetics, yeah. Gotta have the skin game going on with them.
My thing is, how long ago did they voice this? Because apparently there's Hamill said that he wouldn't do any more work without Kevin Conroy in the picture. Unfortunately,
correct.
He was passed early last year or the prior.
Yeah.
And Kevin Conroy is in this, so how long ago did they do this? Especially with all the leaks of other characters that we've seen in the game that either didn't make the cut or still haven't made the cut. I don't know. It's just a thought. However, is the game looking a little funny to you? And that's not a Joker. That's not a play on Joker either.
Nice. You should be a comedian. You should be a comedian guy. Yeah. So to your first point, I'm not sure. I mean, game development takes some time, bro. Like, these recordings, they happen well before the game is out and about. So I wouldn't be surprised. And it makes sense, right? That he would still be it. Like, if you think Kevin Conroy as Batman, like, it has to be Mark Hamill as Joker. It's just it makes no sense why Warner Brothers wouldn't want to do that. In terms of the gameplay, that's kind of like the next thing that's kind of sparked up. Besides the all the awesome gameplay that we got to see of the Joker, of his moveset, which to be honest, not a whole lot is standing out. We'll talk more as we get actual breakdowns on it. But the gameplay was the biggest thing. There was a debate about this even when we saw the initial update to the rollback kind of demonstration that we covered a couple episodes back, where they're showing how like rollback is calculated and how basically the network connection is working within the game. People were then kind of focusing on the overall gameplay of the game. It seemed like it was slower, and maybe it could have been. It's been a while, right? Not unless you were still playing the game in Steam, you might not remember it too well, or just, it was just maybe it was just being mistaken, right? No, like, this is just continuing the gameplay, and it's like you can see it, man. Like, especially when Iron Giant's in there. Like, Iron Giant was already kind of a slow character, right? He was huge, but he's slow, right? It makes sense. But like he just looks like you can almost like count the damn frames. Like, honestly, in the footage for him, like the entirety of seeing the scramble of how all the characters are interacting with each other, it definitely feels slower. And some people were defending like it's the same. I'm like, bro, I don't know. Like, I played a lot of the game, and I remember, like, I'm not gonna say I was like the greatest in movement, but my movement was I was kind of schmoving a little bit there. That don't look like schmoving. That look like molasses.
Yeah, I mean the game definitely looks slower, but it's a little weird because it almost feels like not all of the animations are slow. But one thing I'm definitely noticing is how much emphasis they're putting on impacts.
On impact, right?
Yeah. It's like, I mean, okay, when the part where he pogos the Iron Giant down, right?
Yeah,
that has to be at least half a second, 500 milliseconds. Of like just pausing. That's a long time. That's a long, like, if you look at it, like, and just look at the other times that he's hitting somebody, or not just him, but any character is hitting somebody, it's like 0.25 milliseconds, 0.5 milliseconds. That's what it feels like, at least. I should have measured it. I should have been more technical. But like, I'm saying, that's what it, just off the rip, that's what it kind of feels like, that these impacts are taking a long time, which,
Yeah, the hit stop, which is like what we call it, when moves like actually make contact and such in fighting games, like the hit stop feels like very, like you said, very emphasized, like the frame freeze or the screen freeze that happens when you actually hit. Like I can't explain it. I couldn't pin it down, but like, yeah, like I'm noticing it more and more as I'm looking for it. But like, I felt like, was it always like that? I'm not 100% sure, but I don't remember it being like that.
So Smash obviously has screen freeze in the latest game. However, that is only on the presumed last hit of the game. Not necessarily, It wouldn't, I mean, and Multiversus is obviously a 2v2. So I would think that would affect my partner who's beating up on somebody else.
Good point, actually.
So, yeah, I mean, you're playing a fighting game where there's timing involved. Specifically, even more in Smash, when you got your jumps and your side Bs and up Bs and left Bs and RA, whatever else you got.
The rest of your alphabets.
Yeah. And then so it's like, you know, I bring up a very good point with the screen shake. And then there's like only again in Smash, it had to be the very last hit because or presumed because sometimes it doesn't end
Sometimes
the match.
it doesn't. Yeah.
Sort of like the slowdown in Tekken, which is again fine in a game that, you know, it's the last hit. What's gonna happen?
But the thing about that is like that's due to presentation. That is a very particular circumstance, right? Like potential last hit, right, with Tekken, where it's like, oh, if it hits, you know, it's a KO.
Yeah.
For Smash, it's like this hit, it should 9 times out of 10 probably kill the character, right? So it puts you, so that's a very specific circumstance. But we're talking like just if this is just standard gameplay. Like, holy shit, like, you know, I just want them to kind of have an official statement on it, because I think at this point, I have not seen anything addressing it, which, you know, is in their, it's kind of like in their benefit to do so. Like, I don't think it could go, you know, it could go wrong, because for one, it's feedback, right? Like, take it this way. If they come out and say they tweet like, hey, we've seen the discourse or the conversation about the game speed, we want to be, you know, transparent about it and say like it's the same. Maybe show a clip and be like, okay, cool. If it's the same, and you're the developer, I'm trusting that it is the same, right? You're not lying to me about it. Hopefully, they're not lying to the consumer. What kind of world would that be, right? But then, you know, on the other side of it, if they did change it, like let us know. Because the feedback is like, if they come clean about it and go like, yeah, we did change it. We sent it down to 0.85, and the hit stop has also kind of been increased a bit. Okay, let the community, the consumer, everyone that has this channel, you know, this communication channel to you, to be like, hey, here's some feedback, or maybe even make a feedback form if you hear enough of it. Should the speed be altered? Or, you know, we would like to see this. We're like, this is just feedback. Like, in a world where developers are open to this, especially in the fighting game, you know, world where, you know, they've been pretty much open in hearing about this, like, they should take that opportunity to do that here.
I also see the value in them not talking about it yet because the game's not out yet. You know,
also true.
I definitely see the value from their perspective of let's let the game come out. If
you don't know what you want,
yeah, exactly. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you really don't.
Yeah, like, true that.
You know, let's you know, let the game come out. Let's let people play it. We'll take their feedback and look at the data that the game's sending back to us, and make a determination based on that. I mean, we had a conversation about this a couple episodes ago that you may think the problem's one thing, but the data is actually telling them something else. And so if they fix the thing that you want them to fix, it's not actually fixing your problem versus, you know, like you actually, you know, tweaking something out and it's like, oh, okay, it's fine now.
The symptom versus the disease, right? Like there's two different things there.
Exactly. Because a lot of it has to do with perception. Like, I think it was like, I'm not sure if you brought it up before, but it was like one of the devs for like the original Counter-Strike. Was like people kept complaining with every update that the game was getting laggier and laggier and laggier, and all they did was change the number that they said the latency was, but they didn't actually change anything else. People were like, oh yeah, the game's fine now. It was all perception, you know, it was a placebo effect. So I can see the value of it, as long as I think it depends on severity, right? Like if it comes out and people are like, yo, this is unplayable, you can easily kill your game within the first few weeks. But if that's the risk, right? But if you just kind of like, you know, if you're responsive, and in 2024 you can be responsive, you know, in terms of patching and stuff like that, at least on PC, and you know, just go from there. So I definitely see the value of it, but like, we'll just have to see how they respond to it. But I'm not going to judge them until the game actually comes out and see what they do with it.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I'm also like for them, just also kind of trying to get ahead of it because of what you just said earlier, right? Like, with the risk, right? I'm just trying to like they've already, I want to say backpedaled or anything. They've had to already kind of go underground to fix these issues, and they were pretty voiced issues, and it's like, hey. Do you really want to open up that wound already? Like, you just got the bitch stitched up. Like do you want to like and not to say at the same time though, it's so tricky. That's game development for you, right? It's tricky, right? Like consumer might say they want one thing. No, you really don't want this. You want this, but you don't really know what you want. But at the same time, on your end, it's like, you know what? Maybe, you know, for me, it is a perception. And then once I actually play the game, I'll be like, you know what? The speed is actually fine. No harm, no foul, right? It's like, you know, that now there's no additional development costs that they have to do in order to change that up or to tweak it, and you know their game is actually then perceived well in the beginning, right? But all we can do is really just wait and find out as to like how that ends up. But there were some other little sneaky little Easter eggs that were thrown in there, by the way. What's it called? We had the backgrounds are what came up for a lot of people, where they showed like Townsville and of course Dexter's Lab and all. Like these have all been basically confirmed for quite some time.
Yeah.
But we're now actually seeing you know, some small snippets of them now. So we're probably gonna get closer to actually, you know, getting maybe some announcements of these characters in this, which, you know, they have plenty more. Even though they haven't been vocal in terms of things like the speed of the game, they've definitely been vocal as to what their plans are, or at least, you know, your expectations to build that hype to see the content that they have coming down the pipeline.
And at 07, there is a card for the Powerpuff Girls. So I wonder if there'll be one character with 3, or maybe you should switch between all 3 of them. That'd be kind of busted, like the Pokemon trainer.
Yeah, it would be a little busted. We'll just have to. He's like, it's just Professor Oak, and he's picking one of the girls to go out.
Professor Oak or Professor Utonium?
Did I say Professor Oak? Yeah,
yes,
Utonium.
I said
my bad.
I did say Pokemon trainer. So
I've seen a lot of professors. You said Pokemon. Screwed me up. Basically, Jack if he was a scientist, right? Yeah. You ever heard that meme?
No, but
like,
if there was
Samurai Jack, it was basically Professor Utonium. But it's just yeah, exactly.
Is it plutonium or utonium?
Utonium.
Okay. What if the Rowdy Rough Boys was an alternate costume? That'd be kind of sick. Or even Princess, because Princess was like one of their best villains, and or Mojo Jojo. Anyway, sorry, there's a bit of fandom around happening.
Tangent. I think they got the right subject matter. Yeah. So Joker, we'll get some more gameplay. Hopefully we get a breakdown on the character real soon. And also, like I said, a heads up as to what's going on with this game, gameplay speed. All right. And with that, guys, we're going to be taking a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about finding yourself a local tournament to attend, or rather how to find a local tournament to attend and start your FGC career in 2024. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, and we are back. We've got, like I said, we just talked about the Clown Prince of Crime. Now let's jump into a topic I kind of wanted to bring up about, because it was interesting for me, because I was thinking, you know, we've been getting a lot of spotlight on the FGC recently, or just fighting games in general. You know, they're picking up, right? We just had, what is it? Just recently, we had Megan Thee Stallion just like fucking cosplay as fucking Christine or whatever from Tekken in her latest video or some shit. Like it's we're going mainstream, guys. We're going mainstream. So that just means there's more people playing the games, which also means there's more people that are, you know, that are also competitive, or maybe are, you know, just jumping into the vortex, into the whirlwind that is the fighting game scene, and want to actually compete, or want to actually, you know, go for the glory, or get the, you know, that urge of competition, and go and not just be the biggest bully in his neighborhood.
And I'd agree, because we haven't seen Street Fighter's numbers relatively go down at any competitive level. I mean, it's still been quite strong, except that Combo Breaker, for some reason, it is lower than Tekken.
Couple factors there, but we'll, you know, one Tekken's newer. It's hype. It's always been a thing in Combo Breaker, but then also the patch thing.
Yep.
For Street Fighter.
I know. I'm aware. I'm ready for all the Akuma tech. We just talked about it. I know.
Yeah. So if you're one of these people that have kind of been jumping in, and say, you know, you booted it up, you got it on Humble Bundle, I don't know, maybe you got it on Evo sale going on, picked up a game, whatever fighting game, and you're just like, okay, cool. I think I got my character. I think I'm you know, I'm looking up tournaments. I've seen tech, you know, and now you want to hit a tournament, or at least a local.
Yeah.
You know, and we're gonna go into that in a bit too, as to like why you should go into a local in 2024. In this world of rollback netcode, of online tournaments, of, you know, you don't really have to leave Like none of us here have to really leave their room right now to get into a tournament that has a cash prize, or something that's happening weekly or monthly. Why would you still go out and actually travel to some location to actually play in a local tournament in 2024? Couple reasons for sure. Some that we can focus on real quick is local tournaments are a great way to meet local players. Like it's kind of obvious there, right? Like local players that you might not, maybe they don't have the same schedule as you when you're hitting ladder unranked, right? Like you're not coming across, or maybe the opposite too. Maybe it's players that you actually have played online that are maybe local to you, and you can actually play them offline, because offline versus online is there is still a difference. There's very much a difference there. So meeting local players, local talent, is a great reason to hit your local tournament. On top of that, when you make those, when you go out to a local tournament, and if say you want to go to a major, say you just, all right, for example, Florida, you're a newbie, just started out, what's the first thing you're thinking of? Like, yo, I want to hit up CEO, right? Big tournament, incredibly large, a great experience, and plenty of players obviously are going to go. But maybe it's your first tournament, right? It's huge. Like CEO could be very intimidating to go to because of just how large it is. You don't know where to go. You don't know who to talk to. You're still trying to even figure out your way around. Going to like a local tournament from your area, your neighborhood, your city, whatever, is a great way to kind of like get used to that kind of environment on a smaller scale, but still get used to the environment of what you have to do, right? Go seeing the TOs and, getting to your stations, kind of building that tournament etiquette, right? So a local tournament helps you building that. And a bonus, like I said earlier, you meet people at local tournaments, right? So the people you meet at your locals are the people that are going to go to those majors, like CEO. So now you've got people, friends, or even, at the very least, competitive players that you know of that are going, and now you can go as a group. It's easier to go somewhere like that when you have people to go with, right? Like, it's all a social environment. So going to a local like helps build that, and kind of like one of the biggest things for me, and maybe you agree on this one, Static, is the mental stack of it. Like imagine going to like something like CEO as your first tournament versus like hitting up something like the lab or TNS. I mean, I know TNS is technically like online, but like, something at that level in an actual local that you go to. That's going to be easier to do if you've gone to your own, to a local nearby you than just going to a major, right?
Right. Well,
especially if you're new.
And that's something. So I wanted to bring up is like, what really brings people into a fighting game besides actually getting the game, let's say for free, or even for like a weekend where it's like, try all the DLC for once, and you're like, I like that DLC character, I want to go to a local, I don't want to overcommit to a character, and now I get to play those characters. Or I liked Eunice for that one weekend and it was free, I want to go to a Eunice local and play there. However, I think what brings more people in when it's a fighting game is the flashiness of it. And the flashiness of no, hear me out. When you see something like the Daigo parry, you're like, I want to do the flashy stuff, and then I go to my local and I can show off the flashy stuff that I learned at home.
You practice it at your local. That's what you're saying,
right? You practice at your local.
I'm gonna fuck up these local guys before I go out to a major doing this.
But that's the thing. You try to do that, and then you're like, damn it! I focused so hard on trying to be flashy that I don't know how to play a fighting game. And like, but. That's a reality. You try to. You're like, here's one example of myself. I was really hyped to Marvel 2, and I would go into the forums and I'd be like, yeah, man, I think I'm the greatest because I know like 2 combos with Spider-Man, and I'm like, I know how to do an air combo. I know how to do the crouch, light kick, standing, heavy kick, and I'm like, ooh, that's top tier. I know how to do an air combo and set that up.
This man said 3 buttons.
Said, yeah, well, because I'm
the best.
I thought it was elaborate.
That's
like,
just game,
yeah.
bro.
But I thought that was elaborate. Like, yo, you got to do a crouching into a standing heavy kick. Yo, that's kind of elaborate. I'm like the best Spider-Man ever. And then people online are like, yo, Spider-Man is ass, and I'm like, oh.
So you're saying a local is a good reality check?
Yes. 100%.
I mean, that makes total sense because I think a lot of people who end up getting into competitive fighting games, like they start off by, beating the crap out of their friends. Their friends don't even want to play them. That's how good.
Yeah, yo, I'm nice.
Exactly. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna show the rest of these. Nah, dog. Like,
and that's and then
get your shit pushed in real quick, and you realize you ain't shit.
Yeah,
and that's the problem when it comes with when you go to your first like tournament. You're like, man, maybe I'm like. Early on, if you haven't beaten somebody, you're gonna be like, man, maybe I shouldn't go. And we don't want to like scare you from going, but if you feel like you have potential, because I think Flash Metric said it in one of those cross counter videos really early on, way back in the day, is like the reason you keep trying is because of winning. You've won and you want to get that winning again. You want to feel the win. And if you've won at home, you're like, man, somebody's telling me I should go compete, but maybe I should go compete.
I feel like one of the major advantages of competing in person versus online is that it's different. Like, like you'd be surprised, like even how nasty people get online, they're not usually going to do that in your face. You know what I'm saying? No. Even if they think it, go ahead. You can think that. Go ahead. Keep it in your head. But that's like, they're not going to say it. Most of them not going to say it. Most of the time people get up, good game. That's kind of the end of it. Maybe you'll get some feedback, Like that time that guy told Gabe, you'll hit diamond one day, and then Gabe stewed on that for too long. Don't be like Gabe. Don't get too much into your head. But still, like I think, like like you can do you can get that competitive like atmosphere without a lot of toxicity. Not saying that it does not happen, because there has been more than one tournament where somebody asked, "How does my dick taste?" You know what I'm saying? That has happened more than one time.
Forever a question that is asked at a tournament.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But like, for the most part, it's just like chill. You know what I'm saying? As long as you don't get out of pocket when you lose, as long as you don't lose your head, most people are just they're cool.
It's a reality check, and something as simple as going to your local, like putting yourself into an unfamiliar environment with unknown players, like that you haven't experienced, right? Like you said, online, you could be online and be a badass motherfucker and take all the. Now do that when there's people, just even if people you don't know, and if it's not a lot of people, but are like maybe 2 feet behind you at most, and they're watching you play, and you're hearing them talk. It's a different like experience altogether. And going to locals and getting used to that is just pivotal. If you have those aspirations to go to those majors, because it's only going to get bigger, and the pressure is only going to get like more. It's only gonna grow when you're on it, because you go from a stage of like whatever, on a little, shout outs to the lab, right? Lab got a little, got their stage, right? And then you got your side setups. You got your stream setup, and then you got your side setups. Side setups, you'll probably feel comfortable. Then once you get put on stream, like, oh God, now you're in front of the people there and online, ready to roast your ass for any kind of shit, right? Like, you think you're gonna be able to handle that just from going right to a major? No.
Actually, so you're saying to go to locals. I think, honestly, a small change of subject, I think going to majors might be good first, so that you can maybe get casuals in, find out where people are from. If it's in like I don't want to say major, because then you go to CEO and you're like, oh, I just flew in from Philadelphia. Well, I'm not gonna play you. You're far away. But like, you'll find a lot more locals in the major that's in your local area. For instance, CEO has a lot of different Florida people travel for some reason. Like, they'd rather go 2 hours to the next town because Florida's huge. But like PA, there was a guy who went to Summer Jam from Allentown, and I was like, oh, Allentown. The guys that go to the lab are from Allentown, and now he goes to the locals over in Allentown. So like, that's why I bring that up, regional tournaments instead.
See, I gotta disagree, not because I don't think you should go to majors, right? But I have more stories from locals than I do from majors. Majors are more of a controlled environment, if you can believe that.
No, I'm not saying not go to locals. I'm just saying, yeah. I think a first one might be good to go to, because if you go to a local by yourself and then you like didn't learn anything, it's like,
that's
do
true.
I want to come back?
That's true. That's fine. I mean, like, I would think. I think you're right in the aspect of sometimes a major can be a bit more fun. You'll have more casual setups. It's a bigger space, because locals are tight sometimes, man. Like they are tight and hot. But so no, I agree with you saying. But like, I definitely have more stories from locals than majors, because like I said, it's like so first of all, we only know each other because of locals. Like we didn't meet like at majors. Like we do. And the first, let me tell you a story that happened at the first local that I met Dre and Gabe. Okay. And I don't know if you guys remember. This is not about y'all. This is not about y'all.
Thank God.
So I know this place. I know the place. I know that.
This is 8 on the break. We were at a break, and we were.
Wait.
This is the break.
Go on.
Yeah, the first time we met
was not at the break.
No, the first time me and you met was not at the break. Because actually was that at the
it was one of our tournaments.
It was one of the tournaments. So this is actually the first time I met Gabe, not Dre. Sorry. This is the second time I met Dre. Okay. So we're at 8 on the break, and for those who don't I'm not gonna paint the whole picture of the break, right? But basically, like, there's
just look it up on YouTube.
Yeah, just look it up on YouTube. There's outside the break, which pretty much like most of us were hanging out outside between matches. And this is important for later. There is a train station across the street. Okay, there's a train station across the street from the break. So
double-decker trains.
So the sun goes down. It's nighttime. We got light where we are. There is no light in the parking lot of the train station. Also an important detail. Okay. So one of our friends is inside. He's playing this guy. We're not in there, but like our friend, he will find an exploit and just use it over and over and over again. He was doing it to this guy, right? So we're outside talking. All of a sudden, the door to the break flies open. It's like everybody turns around, and this guy, he had to be at least 6 feet tall. Probably weighed about 240, 250 pounds, storms out the door. And he does not look left. He does not look right. He marches straight across the street, like just stomping straight across the street. Now, another important detail, this man had flip-flops on, okay?
Oh, yeah.
So he wasn't just walking, he was going flop.
Those chancletas were smacking the ground.
Oh yeah, it was so loud. And like I said, across the street there's no light, so all you see is him fade into the darkness. But he fades into the darkness, and all you hear is flop, 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 flop. That's all you hear. I can hear it to this day, clear as day. That's why I'm laughing like this, because it is still one of the funniest things.
I remember because we lost our shit. We lost our shit afterwards because that dude, he was so mad. Because then the friend came out afterwards. It was like, I just played him, or he explained like what he did, and we had to tell him like, he's gone. We don't, to this day, I don't know where that guy is. The legend says he's still clomping somewhere. Like it's continued. Maybe for this Akuma patch, he might come back and he's just like, he's decked out and he's still got them same chancletas on, and he's like, I'm here for revenge. Like, holy shit! Like,
I actually recently went to 8 on the break, and I think what you probably might have heard is that at the station there's a tunnel that goes underneath. So you may have heard in that tunnel the flapping. So if you go there now, if I go there soon, I might just go in there. You might still
hear it
on a quiet
night. That's the type of shit. That's the type of shit like you'll like roll. I mean, other things too. Like 8 on the break has, infamous fights that are literally been on stream. People rolling tricycles in to play matches. Good. Like locals are just experiences in themselves. And that's what it is. It's all a social experience. So that's why I think going to locals are very important. As kind of a build up into majors, because majors, like you said, it's a more of a controlled environment. There's still, don't get me wrong, there's still tomfoolery, there's still thuggery, there's still dumbass shit, out of pocket stuff that happens. Most of the time that happens in the hotel rooms. Yeah. The hotel rooms become the locals, is what happens. You walk down the hallway and you start listening, you listen to like the soundtrack, you're like, oh, that's the anime room. Like, yep, those are the Tekken boys. Someone's yelling hella hard, like, or ooh, that's Marvel down there. Yep, we get it.
And sometimes you show up to like a Big E tournament, and Sonic Fox speaks Perfect Legends 13-0 in the first to 10.
Yeah, exactly.
And Big E shakes salt over his head, that does happen.
Throws popcorn over
it does happen. Yeah, so some some majors still have that have that essence, but locals tends to get it's a good entry, it's a good gateway drug into what the majors then become. But the biggest thing about the kind of that sparked this whole discussion is like in 2024, how do I find a local? How am I going to find a local in my area to go and actually play and try out? Because like I said, it might be intimidating to go to a major, or maybe you also want to practice, right? You just also want to practice, and you kind of want to you have to go out, right, and actually cut your teeth and get your lumps on in these events. There's a bunch of different ways. There's now more than ever is even more ways to actually find out. It used to be like word of mouth, or maybe you might have maybe you found a flyer somewhere, or maybe a homie that or even someone you maybe play online that happens to be in your state. Strictly speaking, on the states right now, I told you like, oh yeah, I'm from this part and we have a local over here, and now so maybe you travel now, right? Nowadays, there's a slew of different ways, but some still are universal, right? Like, put an example, say you're, a younger competitor, you're in college or something. Chances are, maybe a local club or something, as in like a game club, or you'll see flyers and stuff for those kind of, you'll see those in rec areas and stuff. That's pretty common. Local game shops, not just GameStop, right? Like, I know I'm saying GameStop in 2024, fucking wild. But local shops like tend to do that. I still see local shops that are just like rocking their own little, mom and pop shops that'll rock a Street Fighter tournament or something, because maybe the local kids in this area are fans and they decided to do something, right? And that, that grows from there. But we've got the power of fucking technology, baby. It's even easier. And we've got places like Reddit, r/ fighters. Perfect spot. Very, universal spot for all different kinds of fighting games. There's a bunch of information out there. You can, they even have a listings of different sites for it, including one specific one from Super Combo. Super Combo is actually probably the best example for that. Super Combo has literally a distro of Discords per region that you can join in, and it literally tells you where they're at or what the name of it is, what the org is. Like right now, say you're trying to find a spot in fucking, I don't know, let's just take a different one. Let's go since we're in Midwest, in Missouri or in Kansas. The KCFGC Discord, I can literally look it up right now on this repository and find a Discord. And what do you see in those Discords usually? Hey, welcome. If you're new here, and then, events, announcements, or something like that. Here's the local that's happening here. But then you've got general chats that you're talking to people from your area in there, right? All you got to do is just like ask questions, right? And this isn't just tied into like, say, the America. You got the Caribbean, you got Central America, South America, they got Asia, Middle East, Europe, Australia, Oceania, and even online. Like the information is out there. And I think this, just take it from me, this is, I think, one of the best sources out there. And we'll have this linked up on our YouTube for sure if anyone is interested. But yeah, Super Combo has an awesome wiki that you can just go ahead and find. But Discord has been kind of a big component in finding some places out, because it's easier now than ever to just put up a server and just have some people talk, right?
Definitely the new SRK.
It is. It used to be forums. Yeah, it used to be forums, right? That was a spot. It just evolved into what it is now.
Constantly go to forums, Philadelphia region, blam. And then you see whatever's, and then it's dead if it's like all posted from like last year. Like, it's dead. And you're like, damn, I gotta go to Jersey. Sheesh. Yeah.
But then it's so damn, there's a blow up. Social media in general though, right? Like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, like people are promoting it. It's out there. You just have to, search for it. You don't have to, in general terms, but you're going to eventually hit someone or something that'll lead you to it. But the information is out there. But I wanted to at least talk about specific ones like the Super Combo one. Because yeah, there's even like I think there's Google Docs and Sheets that people have been like tossed around, like living documents that people just tossing around and just updating, like, oh yeah, I'm from this region, this is what we run, check this out, and these are the game. You could filter it by the game.
Yeah, and
be like, I just want to find my Guilty Gear spots, because some places might not support it.
That's something I was actually going to bring up, is that I play in TNS almost weekly, and I try to play as much as I can, thankfully Tong has put my matches on stream, or I'm just doing well enough that I get to play on stream. And one time, I think I did mention that I was at Biggie's tournament, whatever the last one was it NEC? And one of the guys were like, "Oh, I know that team. Hey, are you Static Gorilla?" I'm like, "Yeah, what's going on?" He's like, "Yeah, I see you on TNS." And I'm like, "All right, so that's cool." Like, these guys are actually watching TNS or watching their favorite game, and then they go to a local or major of that game. Like, now you might even be someone who's in the chat regularly and subbing or whatever it is, and the TL might recognize you from it. Like, who knows if a bunch of people that are watching TNS just go to the TNS brackets or go to the TNS locals or majors. And that's one way, like, because they always like to say that certain games are Discord games. So something like Unist or Melty and all of that, like, oh, you can only find people to play on Discord. Well, why don't you just go to that tournament in Georgia? What's the one? Under Night? It's not Under Night, but Under Moon Under.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. I can't.
Lunar Phase is it? No, Lunar Phase is the Twitch channel. But I know there's a tournament that they actually have that's like Unist, like, is the main game as well. Yeah. And it's just an anime game tournament basically, and I'm sure it's like the biggest one. Or you can just find out, go to Frosty's. But I think joining those Discords, like you said, of a specific game can actually sort of put you in the community of the game, and then you build that from there. Now, I do also want to bring up, I don't know how much we have left, but remember that we used to have there was a listener who was from Ohio who said that he could never find anybody, or he had to travel to find a bunch of people. I think sometimes you just have to start it. Like, I said it before, go to a local like restaurant, ask if you can just have your PC out and play some fighting games and see who wants to sit down and play, and then say, hey, can we run maybe a local here, me and my buddy, or if you're by yourself, me and this guy want to see if we can have more people. What is that one tournament? Seasons Beatings was held in a yogurt shop, I believe, right?
Seasons Beatings?
Seasons Beatings was held at a restaurant.
I mean, I don't know about its entirety. I'm pretty sure it. Oh, really?
Even Yipes talked about it in that Evo entrant, in that Evo Japan clip, where it was like a restaurant. I don't know if it was a yogurt or a frozen yogurt shop. I forget what it's called. I'll look it up. Go ahead. You can keep going. But they did. And that was like, even like Daigo went out to, like, all these people are going out to some yogurt shop in the middle of Ohio just to play Street Fighter 4. Like, bananas.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I have played my fair share of fighting games in pizzerias before. But yeah, like, no, you're not wrong. That is also definitely an option. Like, if you don't see anything local to you, and you want to have that drive and you want to build that scene or have that capability for maybe others that are like you that are, want to play, like, that option is also for you to start it, because that's the beauty of fighting games. Like, you literally just need a setup. We get a screen and one setup. As long as 2 people can play, like, 2 people can play, you got a match. 4 people are there, you've got some round robins that you could do, right? 6 people are there, or 8 people, you got a fucking bracket, bro. Like, and just run it. Like, you could always just do that too. So when in doubt, if you can't find a local, you can always start your own. Does not take much.
I'm trying to confirm where that place is called.
But while you're finding that out, there's actually one I want to plug into. Actually, shout outs to Ultra David, because this was something that was started earlier this year, and is actually literally a live Google Maps that actually has pinned all of these different monthlies and locals, like, worldwide. This isn't just obviously in just one region. This is worldwide. And it's live. It's still being added on. It's still being updated. Just looking at it right now, like, yeah, I'm seeing King of Shadows up in Philadelphia, X Impact. If I'm out in my geography is terrible. In Virginia, if I'm going to Blacksburg, Virginia, there's the FGC at Virginia Tech, right? Like, literally can just find it out. The resources are out there. You just have to look for it. But Discords are really good. Like I said, like Reddits are really, really good. Some of your regular sites, news sites, also help link you to that. And also, awesome podcasts like this are also really good resources to find places, because we'll put you guys out there. But yeah, finding a local is right now, I think more now than ever, incredibly easy to do. You just have to just peek around a little bit. That's really the main thing. And with that, I mean, that's really gonna wrap up the conversation here. But we want to hear from you guys, though. Actually, that's actually gonna be my question of the week for you guys: is how did you find your local? Like, if you are competitive out there, I want to know, like, how did you end up finding your local? Did you just have it posting somewhere? Did you trip and fall into a store? Did you just happen to 1v1 someone and they said, hey, come see me here? And now you're like, oh, that local, there's a local here? Yeah, I'll beat your ass there too. We want to hear from you guys. Let us know. Do you travel 2 hours away too, by the way? I can't remember the actual listener that did that, but shout outs to you. For if you are still traveling and still being the world warrior that you are and still listening to us, we appreciate you. Are you just traveling out? Let us know. How did you guys find your local? We're gonna have this posted up. We want to hear from you guys. We appreciate y'all for getting involved in that.
So I found the restaurant. It was called Momo 2 The Spot. It's like bowling, cafe, karaoke. I'm watching the video. This is a video, Seasons Beatings 5, walking up to Momo's 2. And I don't know, is it Shelton Dother? There's like 9 comments on it. Shout outs to you with 516 views. October 15, 2010.
Oh,
sheesh.
Piece of history right there. It needs more views on that.
There's a whole article on it too. Just huge amount of people, but I can like name you all of them. K to Z, Chris Ellis, Sanford Kelly. They're all in this photos. It's crazy. Momochi and freaking like Ricky Ortiz. It's crazy.
Sometimes the local is only one person away from being getting shut down by the fire marshal.
Yeah,
they started coming in a major, but of course, yeah.
It's a good time. It's a good time.
Absolutely, sure. Absolutely. Let me finish this match and then I'll leave. He's like, you got the fire marshal. Son, you need to get up. I'm like, hold on, I got this. All right, with that, guys, we are done for this week's episode. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us, talking locals, talking Akuma, talking Joker, and all. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us for another episode of Double Tap. If you haven't already, make sure to follow my awesome host. We've got Static Gorilla at Static Gorilla on all social media platforms, where he's weekly playing TNS, doing Captain Commando comebacks in MVC2 exhibitions, and I don't know what else you're doing actually. Are you still playing Tomb Raider?
Whenever there's nothing else to do, sure. But yeah, okay. we're playing some more Marvel and Street Fighter. Just getting ready for Combo Breaker, so be on the lookout for that. Gonna enter as much as I can if there's time willing and God willing. So yeah, catch me through there.
There you go. And we've got Ja, of course, at Jostradamus on Twitter, and our BlueStacks as well. Still says this shit's not interesting.
Blue Sky.
Is it blue? Did I say Blue Stack? Blue Sky. Yeah, BlueStacks is the emulator. My bad. Yeah. If you guys couldn't tell, I'm fucking tired, but it's all love though. Yeah, make sure to follow Jostradamus once again. The tweets he says might not be interesting, but there's some gold in there.
Join me this week to hear me complain about there being too many decentralized social media protocols.
Subscribe. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I'll be right there. Follow. You guys can follow me, of course, at CrashTagVS. You also make sure to follow our show at Double Tap FGC. I'm also behind there, messing around, liking, and interacting with a bunch of you guys in the awesome community out there. So make sure to follow there also to hear when a new episode does come up. You guys can also support the show, comments, likes, retweets. They help a whole lot out. We want to get that interaction with you guys, want to hear from you guys, get that feedback from y'all as well. We do appreciate for everyone that has done it and everyone that will do it in the future. Make sure to also check us out on Discord. We talked about Discords earlier. We have one ourselves. You guys can check it out. doubletap.gg/Discord. Get involved. Check out that question of the week. Talk to our awesome community there. We post up when new articles come out or new things that we want to talk about on the show. So, make sure to join us. Come say what's up. Once again, that is doubletap.gg/Discord. You guys can also support the show besides the whole comments and like and retweeting, but sharing the show. If you think someone wants to hear about like the local or want to talk about hey, I heard about this repository of locals and such. It's on this show. Share the show. Let them listen in. Get their thoughts on it. We'd love to hear from them. Rating and reviewing the show helps a whole lot out on your favorite podcast platform of choice. Lets us know what we're doing right, so we'll keep on doing it, and what we're doing wrong, so we can go back to the training mode and work on that matchup. Guys, stay tuned after the show to hear about all the other shows we have here on the MTB site, on the National Button site, excuse me. We'll have a new episode live next week already, and to preview Combo Breakers. So make sure to stick around for that. But until then, I've been Crash. That's been Ja. That's been Static. And we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Later.